You're so nervous. Just relax.
It's been a week, bro. It's been a week. I feel like you. I feel like we gotta stop being friends. Your bad luck's rubbing off on me.
Why do I have bad luck? What the hell?
You're always crying something.
Maybe.
Oh Christ!
I'm very blessed.
We're here.
Yeah, I'm very blessed.
You are very blessed. You gotta look at the positives, dude.
I mean, listen. There's stuff. Who doesn't have stuff? Though,
Exactly.
Right? I'm not alone in that. I have some pretty good luck. Have you seen my kids? They're awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a-holes sometimes too, but you know what I mean. In general, they're
well. They have half your DNA, so that's
the good side. Sure, yeah. You're lucky for that, so they're blessed too.
Oh,
they're
all right,
brilliant.
Man. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. Not at all. We're good. We're gold. Hold on. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. We got my baseball team update, NFL review preview, top 5, bottom 5. Then we got college football review preview, top 4. Yanks best bets 84s.
Yep.
I missed anything?
Yep. Nope.
We're good. Hit the old record button here.
I just want to write down my top 4. I know who they are, but I just want to.
Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bump and Run. I'm Pete Colasano, joined as always by my partner in crime, Scott Bracey. What's going on, dude?
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Unlike you, I didn't have to rush to the microphone today. I was here in a timely fashion. You were some technical difficulties. This work thing keeps getting in the way. It's becoming a problem. We're going to have to talk about that, but sports are good. We got lots to talk about and not enough time. There never is. So, God, did we have some good games? College football, NFL.
Yeah, we did, sir.
They did not disappoint this week, so we're excited about that. Let me give you a quick update on me and my son's baseball team. We still have not lost. So the big thing was on Saturday. You know, we have an app that we use that the parent can either for the game or practice can click join, like we'll be there, or decline, which means we won't be there. So like, half hour before I'm leaving the house on Saturday, everybody but one is going to be there. And then right before I leave, 2 more people say they're not coming. So we go from 11 down to 8. And the 3 that we're missing are our 3 main pitchers and the only 2 people we've ever had catch. So I have nobody to pitch and nobody to catch. And I'm like, holy shit, what the hell am I going to do now? So the whole way there, I'm like, I don't even know. I have no idea who I'm even putting in positions. So I get there feeling nervous and bad. And we were the second game, the noon game. The 10 o'clock game, I'm walking in with my equipment and I see the coaches in the outfield. Both teams had 5 guys show up for their game. And I'm like, I guess 8's pretty good compared to God. So we were like, all right, we feel a little better. The other team had 9, and they're a team from outside of our town. So I can say this, like, they're not great. They're boys, they're trying, they're doing their best. So I don't want to say too much like that, but like, they're not a great team. So there was that. Well, we come to find out we have 3 other pitchers on our team and like 2 other catchers on our team that I didn't one specifically who I was like, dude, if I knew you could catch like this, you probably would have been starting in the first place. Like,
why didn't he speak up that he can catch?
He never even mentioned that he caught before. I think he might have caught one in the old in the strike zone at one point.
Oh, gotcha.
And then didn't want to be catcher again.
But they make equipment for that.
Well, apparently it caught him like under the
in the grundle,
the protected area, and it kind of came up in a funky bounce and
pinches.
Let's just say it backballed them. How about that? We'll say it backballed them if that helps clarify. Like
that's like Tuesday night. That's like Tuesday night behind the club.
So, but he did an amazing job. So we were like, holy crap! Now we have more pitchers and catchers than we know what to do with. And so we won that game.
Can never have enough, sir. Can never have enough.
Right. And then last night we had another game. It was 48 degrees. It was ridiculous.
It's beautiful.
But last week at the end of our show, I gave you a crazy stat about how we had 7 strikeouts in 1 inning against us. Like we struck out 7 times, yet we scored 3 runs because of all these drop third strikes and everything. I have another crazy crazy thing for you in last night's game, and we'll save it for the end of the show.
Football in Little Light Harbor is something.
I'll tell you what, it's you just never know what's going to happen. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun. The kids are playing well, and I'm happy so far. NFL, man, what a week we had last week. Everybody thought the only game we're talking about was Kansas City and Buffalo. It didn't disappoint, but there was a lot of other stuff that went on that we both are going to want to talk about. So why don't you run us through the list here?
We're going to start with your old nemesis, the Bill Belichick New England Patriots, and they go into Cleveland, ruin one of your bets, and smoke them.
Bastards. No, yeah, they didn't just beat them, smoke them. You're right. How about Bailey Zappi?
Unbelievable.
Did you watch the game at all?
Just on red zone, whatever they threw on. Yeah.
You know, it's one of these weird things where it's like I don't think he's any better than Mac Jones. Like I don't either. But he moves the team better, I think. Sometimes, like if a guy just fits an offense, he fits an offense. You know what I mean? And maybe the idea that he's kind of like not a first round pick, he just kind of keeps his mouth shut and does what he's told, kind of like early Tom Brady in a way.
That's a lot to do with it, I think. You're right.
I think so. And I don't think this is a shot at Mac Jones in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, he's a first-round pick. He went to Alabama. He kind of wants a little more ownership of what's going on, I think. And now this guy comes in and he's like, yeah, man, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Like, oh, well, I'm just happy to be here. You know, kind of like I said where Tom Brady was when he in the beginning of history. People forget in the beginning of the Tom Brady era, there wasn't a lot of high-scoring offense going on. Those first 2 years, they were run the ball, play defense, don't make mistakes.
23-17. Just get out of there, a couple field goals, win the game.
Yeah. They go, he was that first year he threw 3 touchdown passes in the entire playoffs. Like, let's not make it like he was lighting up the scoreboard like he did later in his career. There was basically like 3 careers in one for Tom Brady. And those first 2 or 3 years were more manage the team, great defense, don't make mistakes. So dude, what they score 30-something points?
Yeah, but you know, Cleveland didn't approach that game real well. Chubb and Hunt barely got any touches, and what they didn't get down that much until late. So I
was just gonna ask you, like, did they get down early and start chucking?
No, they didn't. It got funky. I know. I think that's one of those games where you chalk up to bad game plan, maybe. But
I was gonna say, so it's amazing how like Stefanski goes from being like coach of the he goes from being fired to coach of the year to back to like ready to be fired again. Just after you make this trade for Deshaun Watson.
I know what you're saying. I think
a lot of people just don't like him, or they see things that they don't like, whatever it may be.
He got such a pass this year, though, with everything with Watson and stuff. So this year doesn't even matter.
I think you're right.
Unfortunately.
But it is funny how quickly we'll get to some of the other games, but there are already coaches on a hot seat that we maybe thought, well, maybe at the end of the year, there might be some questions. Hey, should they stick around kind of thing, or should you just move on? And I feel everything's like the timetable on everybody now has moved up so quickly. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But anyway, New England, that's a good win for them, man. And say what you want, Belichick is a good coach. End of story. It is what it is, man. I don't know how the hell Matt Patricia, you got 3 basically defensive guys and a special teams coach calling offense, defense. Like, I don't know how the hell they're doing it. I genuinely don't know how to do it. So there is some magic there. Or just
you can take off your pants if you want. The New York Jets.
I haven't put them on since Sunday. What are you talking about?
Go into Lambeau Field and put one on the Green Bay Packers.
I'll be honest with you. You know, I've been saying this to you for the last few weeks. I didn't know how much to believe in the Jets. You know what I mean? Look, I'm a Jets fan, so by nature you're skeptical because we've had our hopes raised so high so many times, and then you just fall. And I explained to you how, I don't know, the Cleveland win was very lucky. The Steelers win was a little lucky. The Miami win was against a third-string quarterback, although 40 points was against the defense, not against a third-string quarterback. I needed more. And I said to you, if you remember what I said last week was, I don't even need them to win the game. Just be competitive the whole game. Don't tell them, don't be down by 3 touchdowns and then score 2 in the fourth quarter. Like, well, it was one-score game. No. I do not remember the Jets. They've done it. I just don't remember a game where they were so dominant. Like, they went into Lambeau Field, and this game was I know it wasn't. It was only 3-3 at the half. It should have been 6-0 at least. But I don't know that this game was ever really in doubt. I should say it this way. I never felt like Green Bay was threatening to win the game.
Yeah.
Like, It looked early like the Jets had
would screw
opportunities.
something up at any point.
Yeah, they didn't take it. The Jets didn't take advantage of some opportunities that they had in the first half. That's the only reason it was close. I mean, Green Bay couldn't. I will tell you that Jets defense is real. Jets defense is real, and we can finally see something on this Jets team that you can point to Robert Saleh and say that's him. Like that aggressiveness, that speed, that excitement that you see on that defense, and frankly, it's getting better and more of that every week. That is finally what we thought a Robert Saleh team would look like. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, the offense, I know people are like, well, Zach Wilson only threw for 110. They didn't ask him to do it. He threw the ball 18 times. He was 10 of 18. They didn't ask him to do much because they ran the ball. Breece Hall is an absolute beast.
Yep.
Listen, you get a punt blocked, you get a field goal blocked. Like, I'm still not completely a believer. So I've been in this spot too many times, but I will tell you, I'm little by little each week, I'm starting to believe a little more. What do you think?
Well, congratulations.
Are you there with them yet?
On their special teams and defense, I got to see more of Zach.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say on a good
and I like your offensive line, even though it's kind of bandaged up.
You beat me to it. Yep, I was just gonna say the offensive line is finally starting to come together, starting to get a little healthy.
Yeah.
Laken Tomlinson was playing horrible the first few games, and now he's starting to play like the guy we expected when we gave him all that money. There are some things to be excited about for sure, but I'm not. That's it. I'm happy, but I don't want to go any further than that.
What do you make out of the Indianapolis Colts? They come back and beat Jacksonville. They were down 14-0. I think I texted you. I was like, "This team stinks." And then at the end, I'm like, "This team's pretty good." I don't know.
I was just gonna say we can sum this up. We can sum the Colts up in two texts that you sent me. I guess it was the first quarter? Was it the first quarter that you're like, or maybe it was second quarter? You're like,
yeah, maybe early second quarter.
Dude, the Colts stink, and I just LOL'd it. And at the end, Colts are pretty good. And that's it, right? Like, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a team that can go an entire game. Well, who did they play first week? Oh, my God, Houston. You're losing 20-0 at home, I think it was. 20-0 to Houston. And then somehow you turn it on and score 20 points. Now, I know it's Houston, but I don't care. You score 20 points on anybody in the fourth quarter to tie that game.
They beat the Chiefs.
You beat the Chiefs, although that was a little smoke and mirrors, but it's a win.
Yeah.
But then there's other times like Jacksonville or whatever, like you just lay an egg. You don't look good. There's a lot of times Matt Ryan looks all his age. Yeah. So, we used to do the high five, down low, don't know. If there's no better team to go on the don't know list.
Colts are this year's Vikings, my friend.
Oh my God, for sure. Right. They're hard. Here's my suggestion for everyone out there. Don't bet Colts games moving, at least for the foreseeable future, for the near future. Stay away because they're just way too unpredictable from quarter to quarter. I mean, those two texts you sent me were in the same goddamn game.
Yeah.
Never mind same week, same month or season. So hard to figure them out, man. But a win is a win.
The Miami Dolphins missed Tua very much. Very much.
They seem to. Who scored that game?
24-16 or something.
Yeah. Momentum is a funny thing in the NFL, especially because the season technically is so short. Like, there's few games compared to basketball, baseball, hockey, that kind of thing. So all that like momentum that they built up in the beginning of the season, I don't know that you just automatically get that back when Tua
I agree
comes
with
back.
you.
I don't know that that's a for sure. Waddle is a little banged up. Tyreek Hill is a little banged up. I would assume the league in itself is going to have Tua on a pretty short string as far as like if he even looks like he's dazed and confused, they're going to say he's got to be out. And I just looking at the way and having watched football for so long, it's just not as simple as we're back together. Well, the moment we'll get right back to what we were doing. Doesn't always work that way, man. It just doesn't. So we'll see, but not hot right now. And their defense is not kind of what we thought it was going to be coming into the season. We thought
they got their main corner out. Their pass rush has been a go so far. So
there's pieces missing there too that they're going to struggle with. So we'll see.
The Baltimore Ravens blow a 10-point lead with about 7 minutes to play at the Meadowlands, and the Giants join the Jets at 5-1.
Well, the Jets are 4-2.
I did.
Jets are 4-2.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But still,
Was this
Two
one of
teams
your
with a winning
picks?
record. No, I did not have this game.
Yeah. The both of these teams are just fascinating right now. Baltimore, this is like the third time this year, at least, that they've blown a double-digit fourth quarter lead. And Lamar Jackson was horrible in the fourth quarter.
He was horrible.
So anybody who says, "Oh, everyone's too hard on Lamar," well, guess what? He was terrible. So there's an issue there, and their defense just coughs it up in the fourth quarter. It's bizarre. It's the same thing that happened with Miami. Just like play good the whole game and then wham, you just stink. Do you think they're missing Wink Martindale that much?
What's funny? I think I brought this up before. Eddie's hard on the DC because he's the ex-Michigan guy, so I didn't think they'd bust my balls. However, that game wasn't on the defense Sunday.
Not at first. That's what I'm saying. They played really well for the whole. Lamar's turnovers.
Then Lamar turns the ball over twice on their own side.
No,
that's
sure.
not.
No,
No,
I
dude,
agree with you.
I give right back
right.
to. I go, Eddie, dude. I know you're a Lamar blower, but dude,
of course,
come on, man. Like, look at him. Look at him here.
And I get it because most of the time he's the one carrying the team. So I get Lamar love, but you have to accept when it falls on him that.
But to answer your question, I think they miss Wink. I don't think he's the only missing piece.
No.
They didn't do any help to help Lamar on the outside. They took a guy away from him. Never mind added guys.
Yeah.
Tucker misses a field goal, so you kind of know that's not going your day if he misses a field goal.
Yeah, that's bananas. That never happens. So then the other side of it is, the Giants. Listen, Giants fans, be happy. 5-1 is 5-1.
Ride as long as you can ride it, dude.
Absolutely, but I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. I cannot tell you how they're winning these games week to week. I'm a huge believer in Brian Daboll now.
I can't wait till he gets some guys, dude. There's gonna be something, and I hate the Giants, and they're probably gonna be really, really good because of that. But that they're gonna come down to earth, and it's gonna happen pretty soon. And you can see them losing a couple in a row, and then people are gonna start freaking out, but they shouldn't.
And then there might be a here we go again feeling. But no matter what happens with the Giants the rest of the way, if you're a Giants fan, rest assured on this one thing, and it may be the most important thing you're gonna hear all year. You got the right guy.
Yep.
You got the right guy. And that is, God, look around the league, dude. If you don't have the right coach and the right quarterback, it doesn't friggin' matter. Like, it just doesn't. So at least you have that.
The Buccaneers lose to a bad Steeler team.
Steelers fans out there, we have to apologize. I think both of us thought, like, Tampa Bay, there's no way they were going to lose that game. Tomlin does his thing and getting his team up. Defense played very well. I'll throw this at you. Any feelings about this game since Tom Brady went to Robert Kraft's kind of surprise wedding on Friday night or whatever, Saturday night, whatever the hell it was?
So, I mean, the obvious question is, there's, as a teammate, I wouldn't love that. However, he's kind of earned the right to do some stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, on Friday night, that's kind of tough. I mean, you're not missing much. But if Bowles okayed it, he okayed it, which is kind of stupid in his own right. But
he made a great point in his press conference.
I did not hear it.
Okay, so Bowles was asked about this, and he said, this happens all the time. He says, but it's not always somebody misses practice because their kid is sick.
But there's a different look because it's behind the scenes. He's at a public event taking pictures.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the point is that
he's right. I definitely right.
The point everybody's making is, well, he missed a walkthrough. He missed important meetings. And what Bowles is saying is, this happens all the time. Guys miss meetings. Guys miss regular practices. Never mind walkthroughs. They miss real practices. You just don't know about it because it's Tom Brady and it just happens.
Right.
It doesn't get publicized. But because it's Tom Brady, you're freaking out. And maybe there's some truth to that. But I do think there's a difference in missing a practice on Wednesday and missing a practice on Saturday. Now, what's funny about that is the Saturday practice itself, like what goes on in the walkthrough, is way less important than what goes on Friday. But there is something to be said. It's like team psychology, right? Like, we're all here now. Like, there are guys hurt during the week and they don't practice during the week. But if they're going to play in a game, they do the walkthrough. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all this kind of stuff. So, like, as we get closer to the game, we coalesce, we come together. And Tom wasn't there for the coalescing. And then you see him have that, like, mega outburst at the offensive line. And you're like, are they listening? Are they still listening? Hey, listen, I know it's Tom Brady, 7 rings, brought a ring to that team, and you don't get to say anything to Tom Brady, but everything in sports and in life is a what have you done for me lately? And, you know, this year has not been great for Tom. He has not been the statistical stud that we've seen in the past. Not all his fault. I get that. Bad offensive line, lots of injuries and wide receivers. But I just wonder if that kind of shit starts to fall on deaf ears and they're like, you know, kiss my ass kind of thing. I don't know. But there's multiple issues on this.
Yeah,
team right
you
now.
haven't heard a teammate say anything about it. So
No, but what are they going to say? Because the immediate response from anybody is, yeah, but it's Tom Brady. And it kind of shuts down the conversation. I think it would bother me.
And you know what's
I don't
funny?
know to lose my shit, right? Like everything has proportions. I'd be like, oh, he's not here? What the fuck? Like, ugh, all right. Like, I don't think I'm like handing in my jersey mad, but I don't like it. Like, I'm here. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be at a party.
And the image that he's given off for 23 years was Tom's the ultimate team guy.
All in.
So that's like, it's like, I know he has a lot going on, but like it's.
And it wasn't like this was the
weird
Buccaneers owner's wedding.
Yeah, it's weird. It's odd. It's been, well, dude, in a nutshell, it's been an odd NFL season through 6 weeks. So,
but this is what we talk about all the time, right? Like, look at the teams who had off-season chaos, and look at the teams who aren't doing good. Tampa, Arizona,
Denver.
Green Bay. Yeah, Denver. Although I don't know if that was chaos or just a move, but like chaos.
No ownership for a long time. You get out of a bunch of shit.
Browns, Carolina, off-season chaos, in-season turmoil. Like it follows you because it's such a cohesion issue, and that's what they're missing right now.
Bills and Chiefs, great game. Not an offensive juggernaut like we thought, but a very well played game. And I think they're on a collision course to play again. That's.
I think you're 100% right. These are clearly the two best teams in the NFL. I think what's interesting about you saying that it was a low-scoring game, it wasn't a low offense game, but it was low scoring, which makes me feel like playoffs, right? Like they were both kind of careful. Don't make too many mistakes because the other team is definitely going to capitalize on it, you know. And there weren't a lot of mistakes till the end of the game with the interception by Pat Mahomes. That's what was most interesting to me. Everybody's expecting a shootout, and there was a lot of offense. It just wasn't a ton of scoring, and I just think a lot of that was because of being really careful with the ball, not to give the other team easy opportunities. Right. But yeah, man, these are, to me, it's really not even close. These are the two best teams in the league. Never mind just the AFC. They're the two best teams in the league, and God, this is what, the third or fourth time they played this game in KC.
I know it's incredible.
Right? Between playoffs and regular season, it seems like it's always in KC. And if the season plays out the way it looks like it might, we might see this game finally in Buffalo, and we'll see if that changes anything, if it makes a difference at all.
They
haven't played in Buffalo yet, right?
Not in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, with this iteration,
I don't think so.
Always been in Kansas City.
I still think the Bills need a running back, but I don't know.
Well, they need a running game, and it can't just be, I mean, we talked about this in depth last week. It can't just be Josh Allen. That's unsustainable in the long run, and I really genuinely have concern about what that means by the end of the season. Like, you just can't keep doing that, man. You can't keep doing that. He doesn't take a lot of big hits, but he does take some hits, and all you need is one of those to be one of these, he gets a little dazed.
And all of a sudden, and when guys are hanging on you, people just come clean your clock, man. Like, it's just
yeah. You know, your boy Mike.
We've both been there.
Your boy Mike Florio was talking about this, and the hypocrisy that he spews out on a daily basis is unbelievable. He sits there and just screams about how the league needs to protect these players, and you got to protect the quarterbacks because that's the moneymaker and all the stuff.
Coming from a guy that's never played it down anywhere.
Never played it down. But in the same breath, the last 2 days has been in a solid defensive, these defensive players, and what are they supposed to do? And if I was them, I would just say, you go play and you hit him normal. And if you get a penalty, then the hell with it. And I'm like, well, then Mike, which is it? Now, for my money, I'm actually with him on the second part of this because Chris Sims is on there and he's like, I'm a quarterback and this is unfair to the defense. Like, you can't hit him high, you can't hit him low, you can't pull him to the ground too hard. Like, you can't
spin him and slam him. Yeah.
What do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do? So when you got former quarterbacks, I've heard Joe Theismann do the same thing, Dan Marino, a lot of quarterbacks. Tom Brady has said it. Like, this is not patty cakes. This is football. It at some point, it has to be on offensive coordinators and offensive lines to protect your quarterback. Get rid of the ball faster. put them on bootlegs so that they're not just sitting ducks in a pocket. Like, it's your responsibility. It's not the defender's responsibility. Now, we can have certain rules, no shots to the head. I get that. Okay.
Launching, crown the helmet first. Yeah.
Crown the helmet, but that was always the rule. It's called spearing. You're not allowed to spear. Like, that was always the rule.
Yeah, they took spearing out and then they put the crown of the helmet on. Yeah.
And I get it that you don't want guys diving at a player's legs, but if a guy gets blocked into his legs, that just seems unfair. Anyway.
2 more for you, and then we'll move on to this week.
Yeah.
I don't hear the Cowboy fans bragging about Cooper Rush this week. Do you?
Awfully quiet. Quiet.
Interesting. They go into Philly and Sunday night and lose. Although, granted, I got to be honest, I didn't watch much of that game with the Yankees on Game 4. So
I'll be honest with you. If you sneezed, you've missed that. It was 17-0. Like, before you even had a chance to finish wiping your nose. And then the Eagles kind of shut it down, or at least maybe it was more of the Cowboys settled down. I don't know. Hard to say. Mounted a little comeback, but then Eagles pulled away late. Eagles are a good football team, dude. Yep. I don't know if they're a great football team, but they're a very good football team. And I think maybe one of the best compliments you can give a general manager, they have no holes. Like, there's not any one thing. They have a pretty good defensive backfield. They have a very good defensive line. They have a very good offensive line. They have pretty good linebackers. They have a pretty decent pass rush, very good offensive line, pretty good running backs, decent quarterback, excellent wide receivers, and a very good tight end. Like, and they play good special teams. Like, there's no one thing that you could be like, wow, they need a lot of help here. Everybody can use some help somewhere, but dude, that is really kind of as complete a team as there is in the NFL right now.
I got to tell you, Brandon Graham, defensive end, shout out Michigan guy real quick. Dude, I think he's a year younger than me, and he's still playing at a pretty good clip, man. He's like, he's incredible.
Yeah.
He was in Dak's face all day from what I saw. I'm not Dak, Cooper Rush, and I saw like 6 plays, and I think he hit him 3 times.
Yeah, no, and their schemes are nice. Sirianni's doing a great job. I mean, I feel like we're saying this every week, but
yeah, there's no dude, unbelievable.
Yeah. And I'll give you this too. Our complaint with him early, very, very early in his career was that he didn't know how to speak to the media. Dude, he's as charming.
He's Edgar Allan Poe now. It's insane. It's incredible.
Engaged as there is a guy in the league. He says all the right things. He looks great. He's confident as hell. He's feeling great.
Yeah, good for him, man. Seriously.
And this is still a team that's got $40,000. They wish it was $40,000. $40 million over to $40 or $50 million over the salary cap. So, man, when that shit comes off the books next year, wow. Like, they're good. I don't know if they're championship good. I still don't know. I like Jalen Hurts. I certainly root for him. I don't know if he's a championship quarterback, but
who do you take in the NFC right now over them?
Well, that's just the thing, right? I was saying the same thing. I was like, they're not Super Bowl, but I'm like, well, who is then? Like, who in the end? I don't know that they can beat either the Bills or the Chiefs.
I don't think so either. But the NFC, you got to give them some props. I mean,
yeah. And then I looked at the rest of their schedule, and I'm like,
it's not that tough.
I think they're favored. Not that they're going to win every game that they're favored in, but I think they're favored in every single game the rest of the way, unless major injuries come their way. But yeah, they're probably going to get home field and a bye. And the rest of the NFC, Green Bay, San Francisco. I like them.
Rams,
I think one of the better teams. Rams are banged up, and they look average.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Minnesota, do you trust Kirk? I don't.
Not in a big game.
Yep.
They don't call him Big Game Kirk. They just don't do that. So they
we'll see what Dallas looks like when Dak comes back and he gets back into form. I mean, we'll
see.
Last one. I don't really want to talk about this game, but I have a job to do. So I'm gonna give you the positive. The Broncos defense is really good.
Very good.
And then how about week 7?
Dude, have they scored 20 points yet this year?
Yeah, and a loss.
What game?
Raiders.
What was the score of that game?
Let me see.
Because literally we're 6 games in and they scored 20 once. Or was it 20?
23 points they scored. 32-23 they lost.
Everything else is
they've scored 16, 16, 11, 23, 9, and 16.
Okay, so now you kind of asked me this 2 weeks ago, and
Jets, Broncos.
I wasn't willing to totally throw the coach under the bus yet because he's new, and I wasn't willing to throw Russell Wilson under the bus yet because it's a new system. And I'm going to take a little of the heat off the coach as far as play calling goes.
I agree with you.
Here's why I'm going to tell you that. When Russ is throwing a ball,
excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Russell Wilson is throwing a ball to wide open receivers and missing them.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is throwing it. I saw a play. He threw his ball down the seam. He just chucked it and threw it down the seam.
Yep.
If he would have made a good throw, it would have been picked off by the other safety coming over. But the throw was so bad.
It short hopped the safety, diving for it.
Yeah, he short hopped it.
Yep.
And then there's other times, and this happened multiple times. And who was doing the game? Do you remember who was announcing that game?
It was Buck and Aikman.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. The game before that, I think it was Herb Street, right? It was a Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah. The Colts
Herb
game. Yeah.
Street and Aikman this past week are pointing out, they're replaying the same play that just happened. And they're going, I remember Herb Street specifically. Watch the crossing route on this one. Shallow cross.
Yeah, he's not taking an easy play.
Covered.
Dude, he's doing all
covered, and he didn't throw it to him. Happened multiple times last game. And where are all these guys that are wide open? Over the middle, because Russ can't see. Because he can't see.
Incredible.
Now, any quarterback will tell you nobody can actually fully, completely see over the line because these linemen are 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", 350 pounds. You're not seeing over
with helmets and cleats on.
Yeah, you're not seeing over them. But it is, the taller you are, the easier it gets, okay? But it's not just that, dude. It's not just those middle throws. It's like everything. Nothing looks good right now. It's not all on Hackett. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. The first two drives were great. And I'm like, I had buddies texting me like, Scotty, get off the building. They look all right. Like they might be figuring it out.
When he got out of the pocket. As soon as he gets out of the pocket.
And then the second half and overtime, I think they have 16 yards, which is absolutely embarrassing.
That's incredible, dude. So I don't know that Hackett's a good coach. I'm not trying to say he is.
And again, Staley was trying to give us the fucking game. Again.
Exactly. This guy's got to go. He's to me, he's done. The other guy that has to go to me is Kingsbury. I just like at some point, dude. They just gave him an extension, screwed. Which is embarrassing.
They're screwed, dude.
They're stuck. Yeah, they're stuck. He's got to go. And for me, I've seen enough with Staley that I know this is not the guy. He's not going to suddenly become a great decision maker.
No.
I move off of him at the end of the season.
And
we talked about I'm having whisper talks with Sean Payton. I just am.
Well, they might have to get in line because I think Denver's might beat them to it. But
where would you rather go?
Well, no, I agree with you. But to answer you, Sean, your Hackett point, the last 2 or 3 weeks, dude, he's drawn plays. He's gotten guys wide open. My beef is a little bit off of him, a lot more on Russ, but he's still not a great game manager. He has 10 guys on the field 3 or 4 times a fucking week.
Yeah, I'm not taking that off of him yet. Yeah, that I can't take off.
No, I agree. But the
and if it's not him, if that's not you, that's some assistant coach that you have in charge of that. Yeah, and he's doing bad, and that's on you. And like you haven't made your directives clear. You think that happens to a Bill Parcells team? If it happens once, I promise you, it never happens again. Do you think it happens to a Bill Belichick team?
Nick Saban?
It doesn't happen. And if it happens once, I promise you, it never happens again. And if it happens twice, that guy just lost his job.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we talked about. You remember in the beginning of the season or last year when we were going over like hiring head coaches and we're talking about like McDaniel. And I said, I just don't know if he's an alpha. When things are going really good, those player coaches, like a Todd Bowles, those player coaches,
Rex Ryan,
the players love them, right? The players love them. When things are going good, everybody loves the head coach and they love playing for him. He's great. But does that coach do the job when you get a 2 or 3 game losing streak? That's the question. And that is what we don't know about Hackett. He clearly doesn't have like strong leadership skills because you're just not whipping your guys. Never mind the players. I'm talking about your coaches. I'm talking about your staff. You clearly don't have them understanding or it's not clear to them what the directive is.
Yeah.
So.
Week 7, I can't believe a third of the season is over.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It has been, I will say this, dude, it has been a fantastic season. We have enjoyed a lot of great games. None of those games have been in prime time. Like Monday or Thursday night.
Kidding. I mean, we had the one
Those
Chiefs
have been-
Charger game that was good.
Yeah. Right. First game of the season.
I guess Cowboys made it all right for a minute for Sunday night, but other than that, man, it's been.
Well, I mean just like your Monday, Thursday games. You're like the only game in a day.
It's
brutal.
Crazy. And then why don't we kick off right there? Excellent segue. I didn't even want to talk about this game, but it's not a great slate of a week, so I figure we'll throw us a bone, especially because it's the day we do the podcast. The 2-4 Saints at the 2-4 Fighting Kingsburys.
Yeah, like I would think most people thought both of these teams would be a little better when the season started. I just have no faith in Kyler Murray. It's one of these very weird situations where you have someone who's like infinitely talented, but he just, to me, he's got a little he's got a lot of Jay Cutler in him. I don't know if we've said that before. Have you said that before? You might have said that before.
I gotta
that's
tell
what
you.
I see, like this indifference.
I think I take Jay Cutler.
Yeah, I might. Jay Cutler had a cannon. He was a.
I can't stand Murray, dude. I really can't.
People forget the stats that Jay Cutler used to put up when he was with Denver and even when he was with Chicago. He put up monster stats. He's a douchebag, but he was a really. But that's why he didn't work, because he was always so indifferent to. You could be down by 25 points. He just had this look on his face on the sideline, like that was like, "Hey, can somebody give me a cigarette?" Like he just didn't give a shit. It was like, "You want to play poker?" Like, I don't know. It was odd. And that's what I see with Kyler Murray. I see a guy who it doesn't seem like anything matters. I got my money. I'll kind of make it look like I'm trying. Win or lose, I'm not really that interested. God, you always take me back to that interview with Dan Patrick. And I feel like
every time I watch him play,
dude.
I know.
It's all you need to know. It's just this oddball. And I just say, like, you really think like one day, if you're Arizona or a Cardinals fan, do you really think like one day he's just going to like wake up and be like, oh, you know what, man, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Let me be a little more rah-rah. Let me be a little more all in. I don't think so, dude. I think that's a big problem.
They get Hopkins back tonight, but they lost Hollywood Brown for the year. So it's kind of like you got them to be together. Now they don't play 1 week together.
Yeah.
Their run game's a mess. Their offensive line doesn't look great. Murray's always running for his life. I know that's the kind of game he wants to play.
That stuff isn't his fault for sure. Yeah. He's always running for his life, which is not good. Like, regardless, even if you have a mobile quarterback, you don't want to have him doing that all the time.
Yeah, they got some problems, dude, because I think that division going forward is going to be.
Seattle's not going to get worse. They're only going to get better.
Exactly. They got draft picks and money. The Rams, I trust McVay, and plus when they start figuring out the draft now, when they get their picks back. And listen, San Fran, they're always going to be pretty competitive. So, I mean,
you have 3 Hall of Fame coaches probably in that division. Yeah, you're gonna have problems for a while. So,
the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans for what feels like the 6th time this year. I don't know. I don't understand why it's like.
It is crazy. They played once in the preseason. They played a flag football game on Wednesday night. Like, it just does seem like that. Hey, listen, what did I tell you earlier when we were talking about the Colts? I have no friggin' idea what to expect in this game.
No.
It doesn't matter where it's played. It doesn't matter what time. It doesn't matter.
Day?
Nothing matters.
No.
I genuinely don't know. And no matter what the score is at the end of the first quarter, I still won't be able to tell you anything about how the game is going to end. I don't know what to say. There are parts of this team which are really, really good. And then there are parts of this team which I think are good, but then fall apart or look terrible for periods of time.
Is Jonathan Taylor back this week?
I think so. And then you have questions about Tennessee. Like they've always had this like really strong offensive line, which is what that great running game is based on. And they've lost a couple guys over the last couple of years, like at least 3 or 4 starters off that offensive line. It's not so easy to replace those guys. So these are 2 teams that are not, I wouldn't call them in transition, but it's almost like more like the opposite. Like they're trying so desperately to hang on to what they had, but they're just not that anymore, but they're trying to be. But yet they got good coaches and they got some good players. So they're always going to like tease you, with this like, well, maybe they are. Whoever wins tonight, you're going to be like, oh no, Tennessee's back. But then next week they'll lose to Jacksonville. And you're like, or Detroit. You're like, shit. Yeah. You're like, damn, what the hell? So that's what it looks like to me. They look like these are the two Tom Brady's of the league. Like they're older, they were good, now they're holding on, and sometimes they look good, but a lot of times it looks like they're done, and maybe they need to start over. So I don't know. Did I just bury Tom Brady? I just buried Tom Brady, like literally. That's never good business. Tom Brady's going to come out and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns this week.
Here we go. He's back.
Jesus. Do I have him as one of my picks? I should now.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Another game that I have no idea what to think here.
God, I wanted to make Baltimore one of my picks this week, and I think they'll be winning going into the fourth quarter, and then I just don't know what's going to happen. Plus the line is like 6.
I would take Cleveland with the points if you gave me an option, but that's not smart either, I don't think. As soon as we start praising Brissett, he looks like shit. It's amazing what you have the power to do.
Oh,
it's amazing.
So funny you say that, dude. I remember last week I'm sitting here like, are we gonna start being honest about Jacoby Brissett? Okay, we could be honest about Jacoby Brissett. He is what we thought he was.
He's a backup.
A really, really good backup and a substandard starter.
That you want him to play 3 weeks max. Like that's
that sometimes looks really good, and other times you're like, oh yeah, he's a backup. Like he's a really good backup. He's probably if not the best, one of the best backups in the league, but he's not a great starter, not a playoff quarterback.
This game intrigues me for many reasons. The Seahawks at the Chargers. An old AFC West matchup, ladies and gentlemen.
For those of you too young,
Gino's playing some pretty damn good clean football really at the moment.
He's slinging it.
The Chargers always give a game away or make you think they're going to give a game away. They never really – I don't think they have a game this year that they've been up like 10 points. So they have no home field advantage. That stadium tonight was full of orange.
Oh, totally. You're right. Yeah.
Seattle's not a far trip down there. Now Seattle might have a little bit of a running game with Kenny Walker coming in for the injured Rashad Penny. Pete's having the time of his life at 70-something years old. There's no pressure at all.
He looks like a goddamn genius every time Russell Wilson steps on a field in Denver.
Keenan Allen still not playing for the Charge. Michael Williams got shut down by Patrick.
What's up with Keenan Allen?
He's made a paper.
You know what is the injury? Because it seems like every week they're like, well, maybe next week.
I've heard that for 3 weeks.
So it feels like for 5 weeks we've been hearing like, well, maybe next week.
And then they got the extra day last week with the Monday Night, and he still didn't. It's bizarre.
I don't understand. Do we know what the injury is?
Hamstring.
Well, that can be touchy. No, I said the same thing, dude. I wanted to take the Chargers, but I'm like, first of all, Seattle's like playing hard. They don't always win, but they're playing hard and they can score.
Right?
They can score. They can definitely score. And the Chargers like always find a way to give a game away. Dude, think about this is why I'm saying you got to fire the coach. Because our initial instinct is you're going to win, but you always give the game away. Players don't do that. That's a coaching issue. That is a coaching issue. I'm sorry, but it really is. So he's got to go. And that's why I couldn't take him, because I think they should win this game relatively easy. If you would have pointed to this game at the beginning of the season, you would have said the point spread would probably be like 11.
Yeah.
They're by 6, which is not a lot. And I still don't want to take them.
Nope.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Chiefs at 49ers.
May have a little something to say about this game. Listen, you didn't bring up this game, but it was a surprise that San Francisco went into Atlanta and lost 28-14.
They had an egg. Yeah.
It was a lot of people were calling for that one. I know they were coming off a tough game and then going east and all this stuff. And we talked about how Arthur Smith is doing a really great job with smoke and mirrors over there. I don't know how the hell he's doing it, because they're just no talent. Very little talent at all on that team. I don't know how they're stopping anybody because the defense stinks. So a team that I think is one of the best teams in the league goes into Atlanta and you lose by 2 touchdowns. Like, it's funny. Everybody wants Jimmy G to have bigger stats. He goes and gets bigger stats and they lose the game. That's not how this team wins football games. They got away from running the ball early. Now you're relying on Jimmy G. That's not what this team is. He's not a throw the ball 40-something times a game quarterback, and nor is this a throw the ball 40-something times a game offense, and it showed. So, and the Chiefs are coming off a tough game, physical game, highly emotional game. Both teams coming off losses. Both teams need a win, So I think that might be a really fun game to watch. 2 vastly different teams, right?
Yep.
You got the Chiefs with all the flash and the flare and no look passes with Patty Mahomes, and then you have the the Niners, who are kind of like old school, grind it out, play action pass, play defense, that kind of thing. Love that kind of stuff. Great kind of matchup. Love it. Should be a lot of fun.
Pittsburgh coming off a big win at Miami.
Is
Sunday
Trubisky
night.
back in as quarterback?
I don't know. I haven't heard a thing about Pickett and the concussion protocol thing. So I know. I think the Steelers have like 4 guys on concussion protocol. So their tight end, their quarterback.
This is what we talked about.
Yep.
Unintended consequences when you say, if they look shaky, they need to come out. Okay. Better expand that roster to like 70 guys then.
Yeah.
Because this is what's going to happen. Listen, nice win by the Steelers last week, but
yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't expect this. And, Tomlin's going to get his first losing season. Who they playing? Who's it again?
Steelers?
Dolphins. Yeah.
Well,
I think he was back. Tua passed concussion protocol.
Yeah,
so
he started practicing last week too. So he's had a week. He's had a week of practice under him too now. So, well, I saved this one for last. It's the bump and run bowl, as people would say. It is the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos, and I'm going to let you talk because I have no idea what to say. So go ahead.
I'll say this: I have high hopes in Mile High. Traditionally, this is a game that the Jets would lay an egg.
Yeah, I thought that's the only hope I'm having here.
Coming off a nice win, going out west. If you look at the Jets' record,
struggling Broncos team.
You look at the Jets' record going west over the last
Raiders in Denver. It's bad. I know that for a fact.
It doesn't matter who it is. They go out there. They don't just lose. I mean, they're 14 feet underground. Like the game's over by halftime. So listen, I know Denver's struggling. I'll be honest with you. The Jets are not the team that Russell Wilson wants to face right now for one reason only. This is a super aggressive defense that has excellent defensive backs, especially corners. So you're not going to get easy completions on the outsides. You're going to have to attack the middle of the field where our middle linebackers in coverage are and safety in coverage. Whitehead is not Russell Wilson's specialty. And the other thing is the Jets get a pass rush on, man. It is what it is. Like they get a good pass rush on. So, but this is where the skeptical Jet fan in me comes out. I'm not predicting a Jets win, man. I think that's a big ask. Now, if they win this game too, I know Denver's not playing great, but their defense is playing pretty goddamn good. So if the Jets go in there and win this game too, I'll be 90% of the way there to believe in they're a good team. To go on the road at Green Bay and win, and then on the road at Denver and win back-to-back weeks. I don't care who you are in the NFL. That's a good couple of weeks in a row. So I'll be 90% of the way there if they win. On the other hand, Denver's got a great defense, and I don't know that this is the kind of defense that the Jets want to face. So maybe take the under.
Yeah, this is kind of looking like that Colts
17-13.
It's kind of looking like not 12-9. You asked me for something earlier about.
Yeah, I think it's about
our
time.
5 best teams and our 5
Yeah,
worst
I think
teams.
it's about time we get some
rankings. I'm going to
going.
refill my cocktail.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, last year we used to do high five down low and don't know, but what we're going to do, and we're not even going to do it every week. We're just going to do it from time to time, maybe every like 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe like if we feel like there's a decent change in a top 5 or bottom 5, we'll come back and do it again, but we'll do it more periodically as opposed to every week. But I think it's time we take a look at who we think are the top 5 teams in the league and who we think are the bottom 5 teams in the league. And this is more of a snapshot in time, right? Like it's kind of like what we see now and maybe a little bit of what we think going forward, because when you hear my top 5, you're going to be like, really? I don't know if that's true. One of my top 5 is more of like how I think they're going to end the season. It's more of what I think of them than their record. But we'll do it more periodically. So I'll start it off. And I do have my top 5 in order, in descending order. So I'll give you all 5 of mine, okay?
You going best or worst?
I'm going 5th down to 1st here. So I think the 5th best team in the league, I got to give them credit. And, I don't think it's a coincidence that they fired a defensive coach, went to an offensive coach, another 5-1. And I'm going to say that's the Minnesota Vikings. And what's different about the Vikings, maybe more than anything, is they're winning some of those close games. games. Games that in the last couple years they would cough up and lose, or they would come up just short. They're holding on in close games, and they're making comebacks in close games. And that's a little different with them. I'll hold off on putting them any higher because Kirk Cousins still has to show me that he can do these kinds of things in prime time. But right now they're 5. Number 4, I know this is going to be a bit of a surprise. I just think they're a better team than their record shows, and I think they're better with Jimmy G. So I have number 4, San Francisco. I know they just lost to Atlanta, but I think they're one of the best. That's one of the best defenses in the league. They're going to get healthier. They got some injuries, but they're going to get healthier. I think San Francisco's 4. Number 3, some people think this is low. Undefeated Eagles. I just don't know that they've beaten quality opponents, enough quality opponents for me to be convinced. They played a tight game with Detroit. So, but I do think they're a very good team and a very complete team. So they certainly deserve to be in this thing. And then 1 and 2, I have 2 Buffalo. I still think Kansas City's the best team in the league. And here's why. I don't want to face Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I love Josh Allen, and I would trade for him in a heartbeat if I could. I just think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. I think Andy Reid is the best offensive coach in the league. I think he does an amazing job with personnel. And I don't want to play either one of these guys if I didn't have to, but I really don't want to play Patrick Mahomes. I just, in a fourth quarter, very little time, whether you're up by a little or if you're down by a little, I don't want to play Patrick Mahomes. I don't want Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the field. So I still think they're the best team in the league.
We have the same.
Buffalo's really, really good, obviously.
We have the same 4 to 5. For me at 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're the best defensive team in the league. When they get Dak back,
they got a little exposed this week against the Eagles, though.
A little bit. But you know, when your defense is on the field the whole time in short fields, too,
absolutely. I don't care how good you are. Yeah, you're 100% right about that.
So when they get Dak back, and then if they keep the same play calling that they had with Cooper Rush,
yeah, we've been saying that, right?
I could think this team could be really good.
What's interesting about that is that's what they did with Dak when he first stepped into the role.
Mm-hmm.
They were running the ball, defensive team, and they won a lot of games. 13.
Well then Jerry got fucking fell in love with wide receivers. Cooper, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. So
you know what because that's what fans like. But you know what fans really like?
Winning.
They like winning.
Number 4, I got the Minnesota Vikings. I think everything you just said. I think they're, O'Connell's been great for them. Their defense is actually better now with Zimmer gone, which is bananas. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, great offensive players. Kirk's got to keep it together, and for what it looks like so far, he has.
Yep.
Number 3, I got the Chiefs. I don't think I could put them any higher right now. I think, coming
What's
off
their record?
loss.
Are they 4-2?
They're 4-2. I'm not worried about them at all, to be honest with you.
I know.
But their defense is a little bit
suspect.
They have a couple more holes than they used to. They miss Honey Badger big time there. We said that in the beginning of the year.
He stinks in New Orleans right now. He's playing terrible.
Different system.
Totally. But I'm just saying, he's playing terrible.
Number 2, I got the Eagles. I think you got to give them their props. They're the best team in the NFC.
Fair.
They're undefeated. They don't have to play the Bills or the Chiefs to get the Super Bowl, so that's a big factor too for me.
They have a beautiful schedule moving forward.
I mentioned I love Hurts. I'm a big fan of the person more than the player too. And then what he's doing on the field just makes you feel better about it.
Really easy guy to root for.
And number 1, the Bills. I think they're sick. Von Miller on the defense is helping them out. I know they're a little weak in the secondary, and like you mentioned, playing them in the playoffs against Mahomes or Burrow or Herbert if they get there could be a little bit of an issue, but offensively they can move the ball at will, and I don't think there's a third
against anybody.
There's not a down they're scared of, which is frightening.
You're 100% right. Yeah, the only difference I have in there is San Francisco. And listen, I just look at them and I say, this is not a team that's built for the regular season. This is a team that's built for the playoffs. They showed that last year. I think they were 9-8 going into the playoffs, and they probably should have been in the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. They probably should have been in the Super Bowl. So, And I think it's pretty much the same team. Same coach, same team. But they're 3-3. So it doesn't look like they belong in that top 5. I think any team in the league would look at them and say, yeah, they're really good. That's one of the best teams in the league. So that's all. God, if they could get, I like Jimmy G, but I also recognize not a top 10 quarterback. I think he's more like 12, 13, somewhere in that range. 12, 13, 14, something like that. I don't think he's any different than Dak. I think him and Dak are virtually the same. I really genuinely do. And I think he's in that same range too. Boy, if they I don't know, Kyler Murray trade or something, like if they were able to pull off some kind of trade, or because I'm not there with the kid they drafted, but if they were to get like a top 5 quarterback, that team would be, dude.
Yep.
Just look out. Bottom five. I do not have these in any specific order because I was just looking and I'm like, and does it really matter if you're?
We might have the same five, dude.
We might. I have Houston, and I like Davis Mills. It's a bad team. It's just they're bereft of talent. It just is what it is. I have Washington. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but for now, this is how it's going. I still have Detroit. It hurts me to say it, but I have Detroit. Carolina is awful, and they want to be awful at this point. They want the first pick in the draft. And I have Arizona in that bottom five, man. They can't score. They can't score. Now, look, Denver can't score either, but they can play really good defense. So they win shitty, ugly games sometimes. Do they have what do they have? 3-3?
Denver? 2-4.
They're 2-4 also?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
They should be 4-2.
But they have a really good defense. Arizona has no offense, no defense. They're just an ugly team to watch. I think they're probably going to lose tonight. So, those are my five.
My five, I got them in order. Number 5, I got the Lions. You know, it hurts me to say it, but like 1-4, it's like, win. God damn it.
Yep.
Number 4, I got the Commanders. I hate Wentz. I would not. I don't root for injuries. I'm sorry he broke his hand. And the guy. And listen, I give the guy some credit. He played through it for a half and a quarter.
Yeah.
Played through it. He's going to miss some time. And, you know, I got to be honest. The Heineke might be better. I'm not even fucking around.
Don't you just give a chance to Sam Howell? You drafted
not
the
yet.
kid. Don't you want to find out what you got?
Yeah, but Heineke got into the playoffs the 1 year. So I was shocked they even went after Wentz, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
3, I got our boy Justin Fields and the Bears. They stink.
Oh my God, how do I not have the Bears in here?
That's why they stink.
Oh my God, scratch that.
Number 2, we love the quarterback and a couple of their weapons on offense, but they're just built to lose the Texans. And number 1, the Panthers are absolutely unwatchable at this point. I don't even.
All right, you changed my mind. I take Arizona 6. The Bears are bad. They're bad. They go in. I don't care. Let's get to some college football. I totally forgot. I'm like, can I forget the Bears? I've been ripping on them the whole time. I kill Justin Fields on a weekly basis. By the way, Russell Wilson is playing just like Justin Fields, missing wide open guys, throwing the ball in the dirt. He looks like Justin Fields, but like a foot and a half shorter.
Great, thanks. You fucking scumbag.
He's the Oompa Loompa version of Justin Fields right now. Hello.
You know, this really isn't that funny because I bust your balls on the Jets for 20-something years, and I'm coming back. It's really not that funny.
I can say whatever I want. We're 4-2.
You can,
and I got to take advantage of it because I don't believe it's going to last.
You got carte blanche, my friend. Week 7 review in college football. Tennessee and Alabama.
I was going to say,
football is.
Can we please get to the good game?
Go ahead.
What a game, dude. I was watching it with a bunch of friends. And
couple cocktails.
Well, yeah. I don't really do that kind of thing, but sure.
No, I mean,
might be doing it right now. Dude, this was number 1, fun game. Number 2, Hendon Hooker, who we have, of course, introduced to the country. We were ahead of the curve, and now you have him on the Heisman Trophy list. And what's maybe the most important thing about it is he had his Heisman Trophy moment. I think it was like a 3rd and relatively long, I don't know, 8-12, 3rd and 8-12 against Alabama. They needed the first down, and he throws a ball while getting hit on a friggin' dime. First down. I think that might have been what led to the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Right? Huge play, end of game, Heisman Trophy moment. Go ahead. You just took a breath like you needed to say something.
I was letting you roll.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I forgot the kid's last name, but the kid who scored 5 touchdowns. What, Alabama made no adjustments to cover that kid?
So
at all?
Let's be honest. This is not the same Alabama team we're used to seeing. There are definitely some holes on this team. They're not as explosive at wide receiver, although, listen, they scored some points. We knew they were going to score some points against Tennessee. Tennessee is not up to par defensively with Alabama. Like, they're not. But I'll tell you what, man. I always forget his goddamn name. Who's the coach?
Heupel?
Yeah, Josh Heupel. This guy is number 1 making money. Week to week, he's making more money every week because by the end of the season, they're going to have to give him a monster contract extension. And recruiting probably just went through the goddamn roof. So you're only going to see Tennessee get better. My guess is at some point during the season, before they get to like the SEC championship game, listen, it's the SEC. It's tough. They're probably going to lose a game. Okay. But man, this is a fun team to watch, dude. They have some speed. Really What's that?
Their defense is really bad.
Their defense is not particularly good, but they played inspired for a lot of this game, and they came up big in some spots. Especially, they played really well early, and then they kind of showed who they are for a while. Like second half, they couldn't stop Alabama at all.
No.
But they have what might be the best quarterback in the country, at least college football-wise, best quarterback in the country. And, dude, he can absolutely spin it. I mean, he has a good arm, and he is deadly accurate and makes great decisions.
He's 24, right?
I love this kid. I have no idea. Is he that old?
I think he is.
Jesus Christ, that's pretty old. But in this league now, you can play until you're 40, so that doesn't matter like it used to, you know?
Yeah, just like Russell Wilson can.
Ugh, bad comparison. But I love
first thing
kid.
on the Google, Hendon Hooker age.
Is it 24?
Yeah,
older?
he'll be 25 before the draft.
Oh my God.
Oh,
He's like middle-aged.
No. That sucks, dude.
You wouldn't take him? You would take him in Denver.
I take fucking you right now in Denver. Are you kidding?
But, dude, so we didn't even get to the best part.
Go ahead.
Like, the game was awesome, right? Like, the game was awesome.
Oh.
The kid puts a knuckleball. I don't know if a piece of Alabama got a piece of it or not. It was really close, but a kid puts a knuckleball through.
That's like a Richie DeVilla sandwich right there coming in.
But the best part, and this is what's different.
Sorry, Rich, love you, buddy. Sorry.
This is what's different about college football than the NFL. I think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 110,000 people that fit into Neyland Stadium. I think 90,000 of them were on the field. I don't know. Anybody who, if you go to YouTube or something like that, you go watch the game-winning field goal. As soon as that son of a bitch goes through the uprights, the referees start sprinting to the other end to get their asses off the field, or else they know they're not getting off the goddamn field.
Yeah.
The field gets flooded. I know Tennessee got fined $100,000 by the SEC. They don't give a shit. Small price to pay to beat Alabama, right? To have 70,000 kids on the field. There's just a sea of orange that they're not going anywhere, smoking cigars all over the field.
I was gonna bring that up.
It's just the game is over and I can't stop watching. I'm trying to put myself on the field. Like I can feel like I'm on the field, you know? Dude, awesome.
That cigar thing to me is the best. It's such a cool. It's so cool.
The celebration, they're all young kids.
Well, we're also big cigar guys too. A lot of people probably think it's stupid, but
it's the idea of celebrating, and you don't get to do this in the NFL. You don't get to jump on a field and celebrate with the players. The players are mixed in. There's too many people that can't even get to the locker room, so they're just mixed in with the fans. You never get to see that. It's a purely college football thing, and it's pure. It's real. It's visceral. Like if you're watching on TV, you can you can mentally put yourself on the field in the moment. There's nothing like that. I'm sorry. I watched that, the kind of on-field celebration as intently as I was watching the game. Like I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was jealous. You're jealous. You want to be there. You know what I mean? Oh God. Awesome stuff.
Did you ever hear the Greg McElroy story when he was at Alabama?
Tell me.
So when he was at Alabama, they were running through everybody, especially Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't beaten them in like 17 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So, they're up big, and he wasn't even playing yet. He was a backup. But he goes, they all forgot lighters and cutters. So they're talking to fans in the stands. Like, listen, you got lighters and cutters? So they're throwing down lighters and cutters.
God.
Late in the fourth quarter, they tell him to go in the game. He's got like 6 lighters and cutters stuck in his pants as he's going into the game.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
oh, my God, that's hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
That is hilarious. No, it was just a beautiful scene. It is a total composite of what makes college football so special and so different. It's not just the football. It's the intensity from week to week. Not that the NFL isn't intense, but we all see a drastic difference in regular season football to playoff football, right? Like something just happens. The players turn on a little more. College football, that game was played as hard as any playoff or bowl game would be played because it's as important. You can't lose a game or you might be out of the playoffs. So, God, it was a beautiful thing. It was exciting as hell. I could tell you the feeling I had at the end of that game. I'm a quasi Tennessee fan. Like my dad loved the color orange, so he kind of rooted for Tennessee because they are obviously orange. I have some Tennessee a hat and t-shirt and all kinds of stuff. The feeling I had at the end of that game, watching the end of the game and then watching the fans on the field, the Jets beating Green Bay doesn't come close.
Right.
It's a day later, and that's my team.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even come close.
Yep.
It doesn't even come close. It's magic. It's just magical. It's a beautiful thing.
Let's go to the cathedral that is college football, the Big House in Ann Arbor. I think they're still running the ball down Penn State's throat.
God. What, 400 yards?
418 yards rushing.
Good Lord.
They beat Penn State. Penn State was in the game at the half. They got 2 fluke plays to keep them in the game. But I wasn't nervous at all. I'm like, this is just –
There was only one team that might have been more upset than Penn State or almost as upset as Penn State, and that's Ohio State.
Yeah.
Because if this is really who Michigan is, that is not what Ohio State wants to see because they have to stop that run and they have to get the ball back. That keeps the ball out of the offense's hands.
Yeah.
Dude, that was as impressive. You know, it's funny because you and I were both like saying, be careful, Jim, like, because he doesn't open the playbook.
Yeah, and then here we go. And then boom.
But then they go out and they just absolutely boat race the Penn State. I didn't think
in the country.
Yeah, I don't know that I felt that they were as good as their ranking was, but they're undefeated and they're a pretty goddamn good team. Dude, they
got top class athletes too. That's
absolutely.
What I was more worried about.
They shit on them in every way that they could. Yeah, they shut down the Penn State offense. The only team I know of that runs for 400 yards is either Army or Navy. That's it.
Or Air Force. Yeah.
Nobody else does that because unbelievable performance. If you're a Michigan fan out there, this is a game that should. Like, I know you thought you're a good team, but this is the kind of game that you're really encouraged. And I'm going to say one more thing. And I know you think I jinxed. I didn't text you at all during the game. This is as fast a Michigan team as Jim Harbaugh has had.
As I've ever seen.
Unlike last year when they went and played Georgia.
Yeah, you can see
they were not athletic enough. I honestly believe now. I don't think Georgia and Alabama are what they were last year, so they've taken a step down. But Michigan has absolutely taken a step up athletically.
Yeah, I think you're
right.
They
have an excellent running game, excellent offensive line, real genuine speed on defense.
All 3 levels.
I'm not predicting national championship or anything like that.
No.
But last year we kind of thought they were a playoff team, but not a championship team.
Yeah.
They are absolutely in the hunt to win the national title this year. Absolutely.
I like
it's as impressive a win as they've had, other than Ohio State last year. It's as impressive a win as they had in the last 2 years.
I like that you said that. I'm going to give Jim Harbaugh some credit because I was a big time.
Yeah, because
everybody's
been a critic for so long now. Yeah.
It took him a little longer to get there. He's got his team, and they are deep too, bro. You said speed. They're deep. He's playing freshman. He doesn't care. Dude, you only got him for 3-4 years. Use the goddamn kids. That's like we're saying about Jackson Saquon. If you're going to use them, if you're going to lose them, use them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And I'll give us some credit because Jim Harbaugh clearly listens to this podcast. It's obvious now because 2 years ago when we first started, we said, hey, Jim, get back to what you did at Stanford that made you so successful, that kind of ground and pound, then play action pass over the top kind of thing. Lo and behold, what do they do really, really well? They run the living shit out of the ball and they play action pass as good as any team in the country right now. Yeah. Stanford should come and take a lesson from Michigan on how to run play action pass.
They have a little bit like the San Francisco Alex Smith team.
Yes. Yeah. No, but Shanahan in general, it looks very much like a Shanahan type. Although they're in shotgun a little more than San Francisco is. It's that type of offense. It's a run-based play action pass offense. Big plays off the play action pass, run the ball offense. And it's different than the rest of college football. Everybody in college football, we just talked Tennessee, Alabama, they're throwing their shit out of the ball all over the field. Michigan is Army Navy with real athletes and a quarterback who can throw the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
and receivers who are, elite athletes. Like, this is a good football team. This is a very good football team. They showed it to you on Saturday.
Yeah, they have a bye week this week, much deserved. I think it's get a week and then you
And a
got
good
State
thing.
next
Get
week.
away from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Digest that, get it out of your system, and
You're
then
right.
move forward.
I didn't see it down in this game. I'm hoping you did. Utah 43, USC 42. It felt like an unbelievable game.
USC got off to a little bit of a lead. They looked like the better team, but then it just became a shootout, and it kind of became like who's got the ball last.
Now, how did it get to 43? Did Utah go for 2 at some point, or
listen.
I know it's early for you.
I'm an old man. I'm not up that late anymore, unless it's like Halloween or something like that. But I think we both kind of thought this was a tough spot for USC. Now, it's never okay to lose. We never say like it's like don't worry about it. But this is one of those games where we would call it like a quote unquote good loss. Like Utah's a really tough place to go and play. They've, the team. There have been multiple teams over the last decades who have undefeated seasons or really good seasons going on, and they go play Utah at Utah and they get smoked.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't get smoked. This was a last possession Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills type of game. Utah had the ball basically last, won the game, and that was it. They're a really good home team. That's just what it comes down to. USC is a very good football team, though.
Yeah, they are.
I tell you what, they're not national championship worthy this year. I'm not even sure that they're playoff worthy this year. There's a very good chance they could run the table, number one. But I'll tell you this, next year, I know you don't love the guy.
I got to start maybe easing off the pedal on or the throat of Lincoln.
It is what it is.
Lincoln.
You know what it is, dude?
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a weak conference. And it's USC.
It is a weak conference.
If you put, it's like Clemson in the ACC. Like Clemson is like a 10, and the next closest team in the ACC is a 6.
Although that UCLA game is going to be fun.
It will be. It will be.
One more, bud. We'll move on. I had a little interest in this game because I might have had a little cash on the game.
Ooh.
Oklahoma State dominates TCU for about 50 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And then all of a sudden, TCU out of nowhere ties the thing up, getting overtime, and sneak the thing up by 3 points. We've been high on Gundy for the last 3 weeks. How does that happen?
Happens because they are loaded with 3-star athletes.
But
so
is TCU.
Absolutely. So I'm just saying, like, that's why if you're a bunch of 5-star athletes, you hold on. And this is why it's such a great coaching. That's why he's an underrated coach, because we expect better, right? Like, we don't expect this to happen to him because they seem like such a strong program. But you look at how their recruiting classes go. It's all 3 stars, maybe 2 4-stars. Very rarely do they get a 5-star athlete at Oklahoma State. So meanwhile, they're a 6-0, 7-0 team, and you're like, this was a great team, but they're not loaded with like superior talent. What they get is what you get at Gonzaga, right? Or Villanova basketball, which is you get guys who stay for all 4 years, and by the time they're juniors and seniors, they're friggin' well-versed in that offense or defense or whatever, Oklahoma State does, whatever you're playing at Oklahoma State. But that's what happens. But the funny thing you ask, you say, like, how does this happen? I want to ask you, is TCU for real? This is a team that beat Oklahoma now. They beat Oklahoma State. I don't know if they played Kansas State. I feel like they actually beat
play them this week.
Oh, they play them this week. Okay.
I think so. Do I have that down? Yeah. K-State at TCU. What's TCU playing? They're home every week. Let's go to. That's got to be a night game, right? K-State.
I think they played Texas Tech already. Oh, by the way, the starting quarterback for Texas Tech is a redshirt freshman.
I love how your voice gets so like, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you a secret. Just
8 o'clock FS1 TCU schedule. They played Oklahoma, Kansas, Oak State. So they have K-State, and then they have Texas Tech, Texas Baylor at the end of the year.
A tough stretch. We'll find out if they're for real, because that's a tough stretch.
That's a tough stretch.
It's a tough stretch.
At Texas, at Baylor, but they get the Red Raiders at home.
Yeah. With a really good redshirt freshman quarterback.
Week 8,
Yeah, let's see what we got coming up. I'm terribly excited.
Pretty good slate, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Of course it is. It's college football.
Dude,
There's 100
beautiful
games.
day.
So
I got nothing going on. Michigan's out, no stress. It's gonna
Best
be
part, my son's game is at 10 o'clock, so we'll be home by 12:30.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna
Get some cold cuts, make some sandwiches. It's the best.
Just love the term cold cuts. I just got hungry thinking about it.
Makes it wiggle.
Yes.
Iowa Hawkeyes go to Columbus and play the Buckeyes. I know Iowa's got a pretty good defense, but I don't see them slowing down. Ohio State here.
Favored by 30.5. This is
it went up. I saw it at 29. Jesus Christ.
Favored by 30.5. This is usually a great spot to take Iowa, but they can't score against Clifton High School right now. So tough spot for them. But this is usually the kind of game where they keep it unusually close. Is this game at Ohio State?
Yeah, you should listen to the podcast. It's pretty good.
I think I heard that before.
Iowa off a bye.
No.
So was Ohio State, but Iowa had more to work on than Ohio State did. Iowa off a bye. You had to think they put in a couple wrinkles to at least score some points.
More than a couple. No.
Listen, I think it's going to be like 42.
Look at the history of Iowa. They don't have wrinkles. The only wrinkles are in the coach's face. He's been there for maybe 2 months.
Wrinkles.
There's no wrinkles. Let's put it this way. There's not enough wrinkles to make this a competitive football game.
I agree. Fuckers.
And if it is, then Michigan jumps Ohio State in the rankings, even if it's just a competitive game.
I don't need any rankings because that game's going to say it all at the end of the year. That's what Michigan fans on Twitter like. Why are we getting jumped? Who gives a fuck? It's mid-October. Who cares? Doesn't matter. I never thought I'd be saying this game on week 8. Syracuse at Clemson.
Huge game. I may have a little something to say about this.
What is going in?
It's a huge game. And the funny thing is, like, you and I both think like Clemson is overrated. But then the question becomes, who the hell's going to beat them?
That's why I had that in my Final Four because I knew they were going to run through the SEC and the ACC, and I thought Florida State had them for a little bit last week.
They did, but they don't. But I will say this: Syracuse is undefeated, and if Syracuse has a specific strength on their, this is the best Syracuse team in a while. This is a real football team, by the way.
It's got to be like 20 years.
I watched them play last week. This is a good football team, and this is why. Their defense is very good. Their defense is legit.
And we don't love DJ either, so
I don't know about their offense. And I think they have I think they have a transfer quarterback who has elevated them and has helped. But their defense is legit. And I'm sorry, this is the part of Clemson that I think is average to below average is their offense. So if they could find a way to maybe keep, let's see, if they can keep Clemson to 17 points or less, I think Syracuse has a real chance of winning.
I think that's a pretty good number. I would say maybe
I don't think it's absurd to think that they can do that because I think Clemson's offense is average at best.
Clemson home game's tough. If this game was in the dome, I think maybe they feel that thing. That thing could get rocking if they but it's at Clemson. You're fighting.
It's a day game at Clemson. I'm pretty sure it's a day game.
It is a day. I think it's a noon.
If it was a night game, I'd be a little more scared.
Yeah,
but it's a day game,
I
give Syracuse a chance.
Your Fighting Lane Kiffins go to Death Valley, the other Death Valley, and play Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers.
It's fascinating the order in which you're throwing this preview out here because I might have a little something to say about this game. Oh, my
goodness. I think I do too, sir.
Let me ask you something. If you think of the openings, the coaching openings that are out there, Lane Kiffin's name always comes up. And now put yourself in his shoes and the job he's done at Ole Miss. They're undefeated right now. I don't think anybody thinks they're one of the elite teams in the SEC, but they're a New Year's Day bowl game team.
No doubt about it.
Are you considering any of those other college
the jobs that are open right now currently? Not a chance in
Lane Kiffin?
No.
Not Wisconsin?
No way.
Not Nebraska?
I want
not Arizona State? No. Not Georgia Tech. Like none of these are on your radar, right?
Colorado,
like
you
don't even take an interview, right? You're like, nope, I'm good. Yeah, I thought so. I just want to make sure because I don't think so either.
I have a counter to that. Does the NFL come calling it all for him again?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think the NFL has run dry on taking college coaches. I will say this.
Does the CFL come? I'm just kidding.
I will say this. Georgia Tech is a little interesting to me, and here's why.
Was it a conference?
Because of the conference. The ACC is fucking thin.
But I think that's what makes Lane Lane, because he likes that tough SEC West kind of like.
I know, but if you're considering national championship, like if you think you're a national championship type coach, which I think he probably does, Everywhere he's gone, he's won.
Yep.
So do you consider that Georgia Tech job, thinking 3 years or 4 years down the road, we're contending for at least an ACC championship? And if you're the ACC champion, you're probably a playoff team.
No.
Because you got to look and say, in the SEC, I don't know that we're ever going to be a playoff team.
No, I don't look at Georgia Tech at all. I got to be honest with you. I think I have to put Georgia Tech last on that list. I might put Colorado ahead of Georgia Tech.
No.
If you've never been to Boulder, it's fucking it's bananas.
Lovely place to live, yeah. And to be honest with you, less pressure, right? There's no pressure there. There's probably more pressure in Mississippi than there is in Colorado.
Especially you keep putting
Colorado's won a championship more recently than Mississippi. Let's be honest. They beat Notre Dame.
So. We just talked about them. UCLA at Oregon. This game's got a lot of juice, man, because it's like
really
Gaby's going to be there.
That UCLA defense is what's better than most people think, because people, when they think of Chip Kelly, they think of offense, and there are some talented players on that offense. They have a really veteran offensive line. Obviously, you have like a 7-year quarterback there. He's been there forever, and he's started since he was a freshman with Chip Kelly.
Good player.
Listen, Oregon is a really tough place to go. They always play well there. It's hard to go in there and win. I do think it's possible for UCLA to go win this game. And if they do, to your point just a couple of minutes ago, that sets up very nicely for a few weeks from now, UCLA versus USC, which will be a lot of fun. So I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of rooting for UCLA here because I want that game to really matter a lot. And by the way, what if UCLA wins this game, beats USC? Isn't that kind of like an automatic bid to the Final Four?
I think so.
It's gotta be, right?
Do they
You're
play
undefeated?
Utah? Hold on, let me see something.
Have they played Utah yet? They beat Utah.
I just said that.
They beat Utah.
Yeah,
they did.
You're right.
It was at home, but they beat Utah. They're going to beat Oregon. If they beat, now these are huge ifs, by the way, so we're getting ahead of ourselves for sure. But if they beat Oregon, and then if they beat USC, they got to be in, man. Come on. Those are like 3 top 25 teams, top 10 teams.
Hold on a second. So the Pac-12, holy shit. So USC, Utah are both in their same division side of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Pac-12 South. How's Utah in the Pac-12 South, by the way?
Is there a Pac-12 East?
So they might be they might have to play Oregon again in the Pac-12 championship game if that's
UCLA, you mean?
Yeah.
So if they beat them.
So if they played them, so the Pac-12 North is Cal, who blows.
Right.
Oregon State, who blows. Stanford, who blows. Washington, who fucking fell off the face of the earth the last couple of weeks. Washington State, that they're not there, and Oregon. So they're gonna have to play them again if
they run the table.
If they run the table.
That's a huge if, by the way, but yeah.
Another sneaky good one here, man. Texas Longhorns at the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Absolutely, right? Because Texas is playing really well. They're playing better lately. Certainly a lot of talent. We're still hoping that they have the ability to finish games. And we think Gundy's a really good coach coming off a tough loss. Tough spot. Where's that game?
Stillwater.
I gotta think I like Oklahoma State in that game. I think they have. Well, Ewers is back for Texas, and that has made a huge difference for them. They're clearly a better team with him at quarterback. So, yeah, you're right, dude. It is a sneaky good game. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm definitely taking Oklahoma State with Ewers at quarterback for Texas.
If he doesn't get hurt in that Alabama game, they beat them.
I think definitely they almost beat him anyway.
And then you lost the game after because. Yeah, wow.
Could you imagine you could be you really probably should be sitting here with a 2-loss Alabama team? When's the last time they lost 2 friggin' games?
It's been a while. At least it's early, but they usually maybe finish with 2 at the end of January.
Maybe
when the championship game's over. But
yeah, dude. Exactly.
Speaking of those pesky elephants, Mississippi State and your boy Mike Leach goes to Tuscaloosa, and I think this is a tough spot.
Very tough spot. They've run into tough times the last couple of weeks. Listen, Mike Leach this is second year there, or second or third year? Second year, right?
I want to say third.
Either way, this is a really tough spot. Alabama coming off the loss, they're going to be pissed off. I would expect this one to. I could see this one getting out of hand quick.
Me too.
Although I will say this, Mike Leach, they can score. So I suspect Mississippi State will score somewhere in the 20s, but I expect Alabama to maybe put 50 on the board. I don't know what the spread on that game is, but I would think it'd probably be like, I don't know, 22. Do you have the spread?
I was going to say 19. You're probably more closer.
Yeah.
A game that I'm going to have something to say in a couple seconds. Minnesota at Penn State.
2 weeks ago, this would have been a bigger game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or I guess 3 weeks ago, because I think Illinois has Illinois, because I had Illinois last week against Minnesota.
You did.
Minnesota just lost to Illinois the week before they lost. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Penn State on a 1-game lost 1 game. That's not a losing streak. I'm looking for the score. I'm looking for the odds on that Alabama game. Where's that game?
Happy Valley.
Yeah, this should be a Penn State romp, because you lose 1 game, then you come back angry. You got 2 games in a row, you're starting to doubt yourself. So I'd rather be in Penn State's shoes right now, like, hey, we're coming off a tough loss. Fuck this, we're gonna beat the shit out of them. And Minnesota's like, oh boy, the wheels are coming off the wagon a little bit. So that's my thinking on that one. Tennessee's playing Tennessee Martin. You don't think that's a big game this week?
No. Can I say something real quick that's off the path here?
Of course you can.
I hate sneakers with a suit.
I can't stand it either. You're watching ESPN, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't stand it.
This is the thing. Dude, grow up. It's comfortable. Who gives a shit? Be a grown-up. You're a friggin' man.
I can't stand anyway,
Saddle up, dude.
I know I sound like I'm 60, but
that's so stupid.
Oh, it looks horrible.
Grow up. You're a friggin' adult. I like my sneakers. Then do talk radio.
Oh, God. You can't put on fucking loafers for an hour?
Come on. Yeah, take them off out there. How long are you on TV for?
Unreal.
So stupid. Why not wear just slippers?
That's what they look like. If you look quick, they look like damn slip-ons.
Jerks.
2 more. A game that we were
21. Alabama's favored by 21.
Oh man, good call.
That was close.
So I was higher on one team, you were higher on the other team here, and they're kind of both mediocre. Texas A&M at South Carolina. A lot of maroon in that game. A lot of maroon.
These are 2 seasons that are going differently. Like Texas A&M started solid, but then can't score, and they've been struggling since. South Carolina, who I thought would start well, started really slow, but they played better in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, they beat somebody last week, didn't they?
Yeah, they certainly did, and I think it was one of my picks.
Kentucky.
I think I bet against them, didn't I? I don't know.
Maybe. Let me see.
Listen, this is just good. This will come down to one thing: can Texas A&M score? South Carolina, the one thing I noticed about them more than anything last year and why I liked them coming into this season was they're super physical on defense. So I expect them to be the same way. And that's the last thing Texas A&M wants to see, because they can't freaking score. They really struggle on offense. So I think South Carolina has a really good chance of winning this game. And where's that game being played?
South Carolina.
Yeah, see, and if that's a night game, I don't know if that's
it's cool there.
That's a really tough place to play, man. That's one of the coolest openings in all of college sports, especially at night.
I got family there. I should go to a game down there.
You really should, and you should pick me up on the way.
Okay.
Because I'm south of you. By the way, that's always been.
Or just meet me at the airport. One of the two.
Like you said, off the beaten path. You want to know what a dream Saturday for me is? We go to like a noon start at Clemson where they run down the hill. They do the whole run down the hill. Watch that game, and then a night game at the Gamecocks.
Dude, that's a great idea.
I don't know if that ever works out. I don't know if the schedule.
Where the hell have you been my whole life?
I've been thinking that one for years, man. I've wanted that one for years. I'm like, just give me that day. That's a day.
Shit.
I don't even need to watch the whole Clemson game. I just want to see the start, and then I'll take off and head off to the Gamecocks game.
Get Ubered up at 9 a.m. Drink.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Last one we just talked about, the K-State Wildcats at the TCU Horned Frogs.
So TCU's home again. I expect them to win because they're undefeated right now, right? Correct. I believe they're undefeated. So I would expect this to continue. But you know what's funny? And especially with college football, because they're kids. These are kids who go to class, and there's things that happen in their lives that don't necessarily, pros don't necessarily deal with. Funny things happen, but this is a game that they should win. But when you're playing these big games week after week after week and you're pulling them out in close ones, and yeah, like you just said, they made the monster comeback against Oklahoma State. It's hard to stay up and keep, it's funny. I'll bring this back to how we started the show with my son's baseball team. Last night, we were playing a team, and I could hear some of the kids on my team saying, like, hey, can we, maybe we should do our batting order in the opposite order? And I feel bad for those guys. And I'm like, whoa, everybody get in here right now.
Yeah.
Don't be so cocky and don't think you're so good that you could just mail it in, because we're not good enough. But it's hard. We're humans. You know what I mean? So you win game after game after game, and some of them are close, and some of them maybe you shouldn't have won and you did, and you start thinking, well, we don't lose. So it's just automatic. And that's something where Kansas State can kind of take advantage of that, because TCU might be feeling themselves a little bit. But TCU should win this game. They should win this game.
I like a lot of purple. There's a lot of same color matchups this week.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
You want to give me your top 4 in college football as we stand, sir?
Yeah, because I think we're we're more than halfway through the season now, right?
We're halfway home. This is probably halfway home because now the buys are kicking in. So there's some teams that have 6 games played, and
so I don't have this in any order, because, like you said, it doesn't really matter right now. And some of these teams are going to play each other, and in a round robin kind of tournament like that, I don't think it matters yet. As we get closer to the end of the season, maybe we'll rank them a little more. But these are my top 4, and then I have the 2 that right now are just on the outside. I have Tennessee off the huge win. I still have Georgia in there. Listen, they're undefeated. Their offense is not always great, but shockingly, I don't know how, but their defense is still amazing, even after they lost 10 out of 11 starters. And then Ohio State and Michigan. It is what it is, man. It's SEC, and it's SEC, and it's the Big Ten. I don't have Clemson anywhere near this. I have Bama and USC right now just on the outside.
Yeah. I have them in order. I have 1 Tennessee. I think they earned it. They have the better win out of them in Georgia. So right now I have Ohio State 2. Just because of the firepower. I have Georgia 3 and Michigan 4. If USC would have won last week, it would have been maybe a little different. I don't know what I would have done there. I think you're
I don't know how you put them ahead of any of those teams, though.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And Alabama, obviously, after the loss. But, they're not going anywhere, so.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, no, I think that clears up. I think we're in good shape right there. Let me ask you this before we
wait, hold on one second before you ask me. The best part is those Michigan, Ohio State play and Tennessee, Georgia play.
I was going to say all those teams play. Yeah, absolutely. And even Bama on the outside will get a chance either at Georgia or at the SEC championship, however that'll work.
Yep.
So I have Bama and USC on the outside looking in. Besides those 6 teams, do you see? I mean, I guess Clemson technically,
TCU if they run it.
I mean, yeah, that's a huge ask for them.
You know
what's funny? Didn't they get left out of this? Didn't they get left out of that? With Gary Patterson 5-6 years ago, something like that. Yeah. And that's purely reputation. It's totally unfair. Yeah, TCU, I can see that. I guess so.
That's probably it. I mean, what about UCLA if they were on the table?
UCLA, yeah.
But it seems like there's a lot of football to be played yet, bro. That's why
there really is. There really is. Okay, I just wanted to see if you had anybody else outside looking in, they're still thinking about it. No, I think you're right with both of those teams, actually.
Yeah.
If you're those teams, you're still thinking that for sure. Clemson obviously still thinking that as far as making the playoffs. They're undefeated, for God's sake.
Definitely.
But I just don't look at them as championship. I actually think the worst thing that could happen to Clemson is make the playoffs. Because I think if they make the playoffs and play any of the teams we just mentioned, I think they get shit on. I think they get absolutely shit on. If they play USC, if they play Alabama,
they're not a bad team, but they're not like the Clemson teams we're used to. So maybe we don't.
They're not explosive offensively. They're struggle offensively.
And DJ holds on to that ball a long time.
He's bad.
Man.
He's bad. He's not good. He's just not good. This happens, dude. This happens. They dominate in high school, and then you just hit a ceiling, and you don't get any better. It's not that I don't like the kid. He seems like a really nice kid. They're just telling you what I see.
Yeah,
he just says capped out. There's nothing better to get.
Want to bet?
I would love to bet. Do we need music? We need some music here. Hold on. Let's get some music.
So I went 2-2 last week. That brings me to 12, 10-1 overall. Mr. Calisano, another struggler, he went 1-3 last week.
What were my games?
9, 14-1 last week.
What were my games?
9-14-1 overall. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
Jesus. That would
You
be
had the Kansas Jayhawks, which lost by a point.
I know. I got screwed in that one.
You had the Kansas City Chiefs, who lost by a point.
Dude.
You had the Cleveland Browns that lost by 60 points.
All right, that one I get. What was my winner?
And you hit the Illinois Fighting Illini plus 6.5, and they won outright. So,
Outright by 2 touchdowns, by the way. Thank you very much. I should have been 3-1. Let's be honest. I should have been 3-1. The betting gods are not friendly with me.
I'm going to catch up here with our totals. I'm going to take 5 games this week.
Oh, my. Okay. I still have my regular 4. Where do you have 3 in college or pro?
Yeah, I have 3 in college.
All right, then you started off.
All right. Since Pete Calcino was so ice cold, he set this up for me perfectly about 10 minutes ago. He thinks Penn State should win comfortably at Happy Valley against the Golden Gophers.
I should.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh.
Michigan exposed Penn State last week. Minnesota has a tremendous run game. They're probably salivating watching what Michigan did on tape. Salivating. Oh, my God. We could do this. We could do this.
Is that a day game or night game?
Night game.
Is it a whiteout?
No, they're saving that for the Buckeyes the next week. Let's go. Penn State's quarterback's a little banged up. He's like 37. So, I mean, at this point, he's probably
Clifford, right?
Minnesota +4 at Penn State.
Ooh, man, that is gutsy. That's not a lot of points. I'm surprised. Listen, Minnesota's got 2 games.
You can't even talk.
Because I'm like, it's only 4?
I know.
That seems like a wacky line, man.
I know. You know I love wacky lines.
You do. You always love those wacky lines. All right. I mean, I can't be a hypocrite, right? I've been telling you since the beginning of the season that Clemson isn't anywhere near as good as the number 5 team or number 4 team in the country. I know they're undefeated. And I said to you before, I think I was alluding to my pick, right? When I said, if Syracuse has a really good defense, and I think it's possible that they can keep Clemson to 17 points. And if they keep Clemson to 17 points, they might win the game outright.
Wow.
Syracuse is getting 13.5. Folks, listen to me. Take the points, number 1, but don't be afraid to throw a couple bananas on the money line, because I think this might be the week that Clemson goes down. Give me Syracuse plus the 2 touchdowns, really 13.5, but almost 2 touchdowns against Clemson.
By a half a point. The Wisconsin Badgers are not the Wisconsin Badgers this year. I don't know what's going on there. Purdue tied atop of the Big Ten West, looking to stay on pace with Illinois at this point.
What's their record? 5-2?
I think so. Yeah. But they only have 1 loss in the Big Ten.
Nice. Okay.
And they got to play Illinois at the end of the year.
Like that. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Whiskey's struggling. They lost to Michigan State last week on the road. They were up, and then they kind of took their foot off the gas, and then they got an overtime, and it's a weird game. I don't love the number here, but I just think Purdue's better than them. It's +2.5. I would love it if it was a lot. It's not a lot. They basically got to win the damn thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think they could, because I think Wisconsin's. I think they're kicking guys off the team now. I think that ship's starting to sink.
Oh, I know.
So give me Purdue +2.5 at Madison.
You're not worried about the start of the 4th quarter jump around?
Not this year, I'm not.
No? Okay.
There might be 15 people there at that point.
I don't blame you. I think Brian Kelly is doing a better job than most people are giving him credit for at LSU. When we started this season, or before we started the season, we did over and unders, and I took the over on LSU, and they're on pace to go over. So I hear people chirping about Brian Kelly and the job he's doing. This team was bare. This team was not good when he took over. But Ole Miss is undefeated. Lane Kiffin is probably the 3rd best coach in the SEC. Brian Kelly's doing a good job, but he's not there yet. Give me Ole Miss. Think about this. Ole Miss is only getting 2 points at LSU. What does that tell you, folks? What is Vegas telling you? They're telling you that this is not the same LSU team. If this was any other year, LSU would be favored by 10 points, 2 touchdowns, easily, no matter how good Ole Miss is. They're telling you this is a dogfight, and I'll take the better offensive team, Ole Miss, in a dogfight. Give me Ole Miss +2. You don't even need it to. Make it a money line. Give me Ole Miss money line over LSU.
One of my favorite things in this podcast is when Pete starts flapping it around. I look at this thing totally differently than you do.
Of course you do.
I think Ole Miss is a lot better than LSU.
I think so too.
More experience. Thicker, deeper team. Brian Kelly just trying to figure out the troops at this point.
Sure.
LSU's favored against number 9 Ole Miss? Fishy, baby. Give me the LSU Tigers -2 to go head-to-head with Peter.
Everything is pointing to Ole Miss, so give me LSU. Is that your third game?
That's my third game.
Let's head to the NFL. I'm sorry. Some of our friends who listen to this are going to be upset with me on this one. I'm sorry. I'm not a believer in the Giants just yet. Now, if you think I'm biased, I'm not a full believer in the Jets either just yet. So, take it for what it's worth. But I think Brian Daboll is doing it with smoke and mirrors. I don't think they have a great offensive line yet. It's better, but it's not great. Jacksonville has shown flashes of being good. I think they have the better quarterback. I think they have the better weapons. I think Jacksonville's defense is actually not too bad. Give me Jacksonville -3. They're favored by 3. If the G-men are so great, why are they not favored? If they're a true 5-1 team against Jacksonville, why aren't they favored?
Yeah,
they're dogs by 3. Give me Jacksonville -3 against the G-men.
And you're not exactly playing at the Superdome here. Jacksonville's not exactly a home field.
No, come on.
Everybody
you're going to take the G-men.
Everybody get close to your microphones. Get close to your speakers. I'm taking the New York Jets.
Oh my God.
The New York Jets go to Mile High and play my beloved Denver Broncos.
How do you do this?
I don't think
you really are an unbiased gambler.
I don't think this game needs an explanation. If you look at both teams, I know the NFL is a week-to-week league. However, now if you look over the last 3 or 4 weeks, one team's going up, one team's going down.
True.
And it's not close. And I'm not going to lie to you because I'm an honest man. I'm doing this basically to fuck with Pete a little bit as well. However,
you mush.
I really do think the Jets go into Denver and win. I don't see any positivity from the Broncos offense. Again, I agree with you. I think it's going to be like an 18-15, some weird-ass score game here.
Yeah.
But I don't see Denver. And now here's the thing. Jets get on this thing early. The Bronco fans are going to abandon this team.
That is an interesting perspective. If it's 10-0 Jets.
And the Broncos have 22 yards of total offense midway through the second quarter, watch out, dude. I'm telling you. Give me the Jets +1 in Denver.
Now, everyone who's listening,
I feel like we should play taps over that when we
understand what's going on here. Scotty's doing two things. He's hoping to be a mush and play the opposite side. And then number 2, he's happy to pay what Steve Stavali would call the win tax, which is you bet against your team because you think they're going to lose. But if you happen to win, you happily turn over the money and call it the win tax. So that's what I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know him. I don't know this guy you're talking about.
I think that's what's going on here. These are the two teams that are playing in this game I had in my top 5 best teams in the league. It's the 49ers and the Chiefs. I think this game is in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't think so. I think it's in San Fran.
I think it's in San Francisco?
I do, yeah.
Both teams coming off losses. The Chiefs' loss is a tough one because, they're playing their kind of AFC rival, the Bills, at home and lost. 49ers are feeling kind of shitty because they had an ugly loss against a bad Atlanta Falcons team. But I think San Francisco is going to show you the kind of team they are. The one thing that the Chiefs don't want you to do against them is to run the ball because tick, 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 tick. They don't get as many possessions. San Francisco keeps possession of the ball. Patrick Mahomes stays on the sideline. I'm getting 3 points here, and you're telling me this game is in San Francisco? I would have taken 3 points if the game was in Kansas City. Give me the Niners. I'm taking the 49ers over the Chiefs.
I like that pick. So one last one for me. This might be the last week that I am on the Dan Campbell Express train.
Yeah. Oh, don't do it. It's so sad.
They're going to Dallas. They're off a bye. They get Amon-Ra St. Brown back. They get, hopefully, DeAndre Swift back. And I believe Jameson Williams is also playing in this game. Dak's first game back after having a month off, maybe a little rusty. I'm not saying they lose the game, but this great Detroit offense that we saw for the first 4 weeks.
Got to come back.
If that comes back at all a little bit, I think they hang around maybe 35-31, 31-28. And then, give me the Lions +7 at Dallas.
I like that. That's a good one. So I have Syracuse +13.5 and over Clemson, and Ole Miss +2 over LSU in college. And I have the Jags -3 over the G-Men, and the Niners getting 3. I have 3 dogs again this week. 49ers getting 3 against the Chiefs in the NFL.
You are a maniac. I have 4 dogs. I feel like I'm a hot girl. I have 4 dogs all the way.
All the way, one.
The Golden Gophers +4 at Penn State. Purdue +2.5 at Whiskey. LSU -2 at home versus Ole Miss. The Jets +1 at Denver.
Unbelievable, you bastard.
And the Lions +7 at Dallas.
Oh, you and that Jets pick. I'm going to be.
You should have seen your face when I said it. I think.
Because I know it's a tactic. It's not a real pick. You'll gladly take the loss and be happy with it.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
You jerk. I'm gonna use this against you in the future. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, I know. You did it last year. That's my payback to you in the Big Ten Championship game, you motherfucker.
How about them Yanks?
ALCS, they made it by the skin of their ass. Year after year, people in the media and fans, they don't have enough pitching. They don't have enough pitching. I tell you, they've got enough. Their lineup has continued to let them down. I know this is our lineup's different from years past. Cashman did what he could to try to get some more contact on this team. DJ LeMahieu, Benintendi, those guys being out of lineup really hurt their. It's a waiting for the 3-1 homer year in and year out. My problem is with Boone and everyone else upstairs with this trust, this analytic team.
Yeah.
You have Cabrera, 23-year-old Ozzie Cabrera, 22-year-old Ozzie Cabrera, 21, 22-year-old Oswaldo Peraza. Play him.
Yeah.
You're going to watch Josh Johnson sit there and strike out and drop pop-ups, and you're going to watch IKF boot ball after ball. Play him. Get a little juice on this team, a little hit and run. Maybe they make an exciting play, double play. It brings a little life on this team. Because what do you got to lose at this point?
Yeah.
So that's my really only argument. Listen, I'm happy they made the ALCS. I'm not happy if they, losing the Astros again would suck, obviously. But this team's got their number.
My issues with the Yankees are this right now. Like, I get analytics and strikeouts don't matter, except strikeouts matter when you're in the playoffs. Because
17 times last night, Peter.
Dude, they had 52 strikeouts through 5 games against Cleveland.
Yeah.
You're averaging over 10 strikeouts per game. And was it 17 last night? I thought it was 11.
I thought it was 17, I heard.
It was double-digit strikeouts last night against Houston. I mean,
dude, 10
these
batters.
Are dead at bats. Nobody's moving. You're not moving runners over. You're not getting on base. They're dead at bats. It's too many. You can't have that many strikeouts in a fucking playoff game, man. You can't do it. And if this is how they're going to be, then what you're saying is we're a team that's built for the regular season, but we're not built for the playoffs because you can't function like this, dude. You need guys on base. There has to be pressure. Playoffs come with natural pressure, and then runners on base is added pressure on a pitcher. That's what matters in a playoffs, not how many home runs you hit. I'm sorry, and this is a problem I have. When you're averaging over 10 strikeouts per game, you're going to struggle, dude. You're going to freaking struggle.
Yep. So game 2 tonight.
It's hard to win. We mentioned how Judge, didn't go, certain amount of games with strikeouts. He had 7 strikeouts in like 11 at bats.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. You can't be like the home run king and almost a triple crown guy and strike out 7 out of 11 times. You can't do it.
And what he did this year too, kept the strikeouts down.
Yeah.
For the most part. And now.
Yeah. Make contact when you're that big and strong. Just make contact. And sometimes what normally wouldn't be a home run ends up being a friggin' home run because you're so goddamn big.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're still rooting for him, though. We still hope things change all the time. Next thing you know, you're stringing together 7 straight singles and you realize, hey, it's a better way to win the playoffs, man. It's different. It's a different game. Playoffs are different than regular season in all sports, and certainly is the case for baseball. So 84, right? Is that 84?
84.
Unbelievable. Who do we got?
I got 4 names for you. Number 4, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, 2007 home run leader, former Brewer, Tiger, and Ranger first baseman Prince Fielder.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, on pace for a Hall of Fame career before he lost his mind, Super Bowl champion, 4-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2010 All-Decade Team, former Steeler and Buccaneer wide receiver Antonio Brown.
And Raider. And
Raider
Patriot.
for a week and a week. Yeah, Number 2, one of my all-time favorites, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 1990 All-Decade Team, Hall of Fame Raven and Bronco tight end Shannon Sharpe.
Excellent player, yeah. Although he's a terrible talk show host.
He's not great. Number 1, 1998 Rookie of the Year, 2007 Comeback Player of the Year, 4-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5 times leader in touchdown catches, 2000 All-Decade Team. Our boy Eddie's one of his favorite players, Hall of Fame Viking, Raider, Patriot wide receiver Randy Moss.
Absolutely. So I started off this show talking about baseball, and I said last week we had something crazy happen. We got struck out 7 times in 1 inning and still scored 3 runs because of the drop third strike. The tables almost got turned on us this week. So I had my ace in for the last 2 innings, or the last really would have been 2 innings. But it was so damn cold. He's warming up in the last inning. He's like, Coach, I can't feel my hand. And the ball is just like going all over the place, right? So I'm like, dude. And he's like, I can't control it. So I said, all right, go to first base. And I brought in another kid. And he's dealing. Like he's throwing strikes, right? Strike out the first guy, drop third strike. Guy makes it safe to first. Steals second, steals third. Okay, so we got a runner up. But we're up by like 5. So we're like, okay, we're safe. No problem. Next batter. Boom, he's dealing. Drop third strike. Catcher can't find the ball. And he makes it to first safe. Runner on third, stay there. So now we have first and third, nobody out, up by 5. And I'm like you're satisfied it's a 5-run lead, but you're like, look where this is going. We've seen this happen before. We know, so we got 2 strikeouts in the inning and no outs. And it's like, oh boy, here we go. Next batter comes up. And he hits like a soft little looping pop-up, not even a pop-up, like half-line drive towards first base, right? And the first baseman's right under it, and the kid on first takes off, right? And the kid on third takes off. So the first baseman makes a nice catch, has the wherewithal right away, steps on first. So we got a double play. And now all hell breaks loose. I start screaming, me and my coach, the guy who coaches with me, we're like, throw it to third. At the same exact time, the third base coach, who's right next to us, because we're on the third base side, we're on the visitor side, he's screaming, get back. So yeah, throw it to third, get back, throw it to third. Now the first, we're screaming to this kid, throw it to first. He's looking at us like, why the hell would I do that? Like, what's wrong with you? He's like, half pumping the ball, but he doesn't want to throw it because he has no understanding of why we're saying. And he can't feel his hand. And he can't feel his hand at the time. But he's looking at us like, why would I do that? What do you want? What are you talking about? So I'm like, I stop and I go, throw the ball to third. And finally he does. And we get the
triple play to end it?
Triple play to end the game on total chaos. It almost turned into the exact same thing that happened to us, and instead we finished the game on a triple play. Friggin' unbelievable. But it was funny. Like, the catch and the out at first happened instantly. I'm telling you, the rest of the play took 6 or 7 seconds. Now, that's a long time in play, right? Mm-hmm. And the screaming that was going on between the third base coach at his player and me and my assistant to yell to this first kid, like, it was unbelievable. I think at that point, nobody can hear anything that we were saying. It was just, and nobody knew anything anymore. But we got the triple play to end the game and we stay undefeated. So it was a lot of fun. Good job, my man. We got a lot of cool stuff to watch this weekend. I'm excited about it. What do we got tonight? What's tonight's game again?
Saints, Cardinals. Yeah,
Maybe
I'm watching game 2.
Yeah, maybe you watch something you DVR'd or watch some baseball, but otherwise, the rest of the weekend looks fantastic. For Scott Bracey, I'm Pete Colasano. You've been listening to Bump and Run, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Later.
All right. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
That's nuts.
It was crazy.
You got some crazy ass shit going on.
What was crazy is that I had the time. The kid who left third, the runner on third, he had the same look on his face to his third base coach who was saying, get back, get back. He's looking at him like,
what?
Why would I do that? Why? I don't know.
But how do you not know the rules? Like, what the hell's going on?
I just don't think he even saw it get caught or something. Like,
wow.
I don't have an answer for you. I wish I had a better but the look on my first baseman's face when I'm saying throw it to third, he just was like, nah. The look was like, why?
What?
Like, why would you make me do that? It was so funny, dude.
Wow.
After the game, I'm just like, oh my God, they're kids. But it was fun. Anyway, long one today. I'll get this done tonight.
All right, my friend. Thank you very
dude.
much, sir.
Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Later.
Bye.